Hey guys, this is Milena. Welcome back to my channel. If you have not subscribed, maybe it's a good time to do it. Today, in what I hope to be a very short video, I'm going to share a tool that I use when I get triggered, when something that I'm working on gets stuck, or things are not moving in the direction that I want them to move in. And it's a very simple 3-step process, and it's what I call exit, center, re-enter. That's it. What does that mean? Why is it important? How can this be helpful in our lives? When we get triggered or we're working on something and things are starting to get stuck, they're not exactly going how we had hoped, or they're starting to move in a different direction. We have already entered a state of being, or we simply feel a particular way, whatever we choose to call it. From that standpoint, from that perspective, it's very difficult to move out of it, to see other options, to make changes and tweaks so that things can happen more easily. And that's why it's a very good idea, as soon as we sense that something like that is happening, is to just stop. Stop. Even if it's for just a second. Because I don't know about you, but I'm also a Taurus, so I was conditioned that whenever a problem presents itself, there's an obstacle, I just, push through it, power through that wall, I keep pushing against it until it drops down and I can find myself on the other end of it. And very often I did succeed and I was able to achieve whatever I had previously set my mind to. But I really paid a hefty price. I was exhausted, I was frustrated. Well, I was left with a little bit of satisfaction that I was able to power through. But very often, this isn't a good idea. There are many reasons why we might get triggered, why we might get stuck, and why things might not exactly be moving in the direction that we want them to. I'm going to give at least 3 examples, but stopping, pausing, exiting gives us the opportunity to actually find out why. One of the reasons why this might be happening is, let's say you're preparing some sort of a lesson or a class or a presentation. What is actually happening is that you're going to shift course, change course, and you might need to change the topic or whatever. So if you keep working on it now, basically you will have to do twice the work. So maybe that's your own inner guidance to stop yourself, save yourself from having to do twice the work. Another option is we might be feeling angry, frustrated, sad, whatever. We might be doing it from a standpoint, with an attitude or a state of being or feeling that is not very good for us. But the energy of how we feel when we create something becomes an ingredient of what we're creating. And whether subconsciously or consciously, it will be perceived by those we're presenting the product, the service, whatever the information to. And we probably don't want that. So maybe things are getting stuck or we're getting triggered to allow ourselves to step into a different state of being so that we put much more positive ingredients in the product, in whatever it is that we are creating. Another reason might be for us to figure out that there are other options. That maybe we're trying to book a ticket and maybe these are not the best dates for us or the best airline, or there's something else for us to look at. Unless we take step 2, which is center, we won't be able to have access to that information. And what does centering mean? It means whatever it is that works for you, that creates the space for you to receive the information. And that means sitting quietly, looking at the situation without really trying to analyze it, just listening to your own inner guidance with curiosity to see, is there something for me to look at? Because, sometimes instead of having to push through things and power through, there's an easier way to prance around it. But that option wouldn't even occur to me if I'm in a state of frustration. I see the problem and immediately think, how can I solve it and power through and push through, because I don't give up that easily. I'm not a quitter. Well, it isn't really about that, because sometimes it might be really smart to quit, especially at that moment. Because whatever we do from that standpoint will be harder to achieve, and we're going to have a much more miserable time, and the process is going to feel like a struggle. So centering is just giving ourselves the space, the quietude, and looking at the situation with curiosity. But once you've received that inner guidance, because you've given yourself the space to do so, then you can follow it and do whatever it is that you feel guided to do. Sometimes I have felt that a problem comes up, and what do I want to do? I want to solve it immediately, to have a peace of mind, to know that it's done, and I don't have to worry about it. But I get a very strong intuitive sense that if I try to do it that moment, it's going to be hard, it's going to feel like a struggle, I'm going to spend a lot of time and energy, and I'm probably not even going to succeed at the end of the day. And many times I did not listen to myself, and I did it anyway, and guess what? My guidance, my intuitive sense was right. But when I started listening to myself, maybe I get a sense of, if I do it on Monday or if I do it in 2 days, I kind of get the sense that things are going to work themselves out just fine. Every single time I have listened to that guidance, I've been really, really, really happy that I did so. When we learn a tool that really, really works for us and we're so happy with the results that we've gotten, immediately, instinctively, what we want to do is we share it with others and want to convince them how well this works and how much easier their life would get. Well, we're going to talk about how we can help family and friends and share information like that with them in the next video, because it's a whole nother topic in and of itself. And if you still need help applying this tool into your own life, book a session at askmilena.com. Subscribe to my newsletter to stay connected, be abreast of news and events. You will also receive the ebook 7 Life Hacks to Empower Your Daily Life, tools very similar to this one. If you have not subscribed to the channel, click on the bell below so that you can get notified of all future videos, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye, guys.